Welcome to Birthing Purpose with Lana. We have Halicia Yarbrough here. She is a licensed regular education teacher and an intervention specialist. She has her master's in curriculum and instruction with a minor in reading, emphasis in reading. She is a grant writer as well. In addition, she is the owner of Soulflower Soap Collection. She makes herbal products of soap, lotions, and oils. And on the side, she does a little playwright. The girl is bad. How you doing, Alicia?
Hey, I'm doing good. God is good.
Yes, yes. So I have had the privilege of knowing Alicia for some years, and it's just been the great exchange, I call it. Just meeting of minds and feeding off one another.
Absolutely.
Energy and expertise.
Yes.
And it's just amazing to know you and
you as well.
And I wanted to bring you here so that you can share your journey of how you birthed Soulflower Soap Collections.
Okay.
Who do you give credit to for giving you this purpose?
God. I give full credit to God. Okay. And the way it was birthed in me, he made it so that he could be the only one to get the credit. That's the beauty of it.
Isn't that good?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Amazing, amazing. So Ephesians 2:10 says, we are God's handiwork created in Jesus Christ to do good works which God prepared in advance for us to do. For those of us who believe in Jesus, God, I believe everybody has a purpose here, and we just have to tap into our God and figure that out. Because if he gave you the purpose, he is going to help you birth that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about gender reveal. Okay. For people who do not know what it is that God has called them to do, I tell them to ask themselves the following questions. What is the theme of your life? What do you do well with the least amount of effort? What do people compliment you for? What are you passionate about? What population do you want to affect? What problem do you want to solve? And can your theme, gifts, and passions be merged? And knowing a little bit about your story, there was a problem that you wanted to solve as to how your baby was birthed. Can you share a little bit with the viewers?
Yes. So when my last child was born, I'm a mother of 5. And when my last baby was born, maybe within 4 months of her being here, she became stricken with eczema that was very aggressive. And the way they were treating it, it began to strip the pigment from her skin. Mm. And so I had background knowledge in medicine because I worked in a surgical intensive care unit at that point for 6 years and had taken a couple medical classes. Not to mention I had some background in herbal medicine as well. I actually said to myself, God, you are not a man that you should lie. And you said you have a cure for everything. So I began first just being in a quiet place and, kind of soul searching. And he started guiding me to herbal books. And so I started experimenting. And I would study until my head would hurt. I said, now I know the Lord don't want my head to hurt. So, but I needed to understand because for one herb, it takes you to another herb and then you just keep learning and learning. So after a while, I started testing the product and on my daughter and her eczema cleared up. And I didn't need to use all of the medications that they were giving her. So, and that's when I knew. I said, this is it.
And see, right. I like that. This is it. That's your pregnancy confirmation. It worked. Yes. The results right. Were the confirmation. Right. And I need to, you know what, while we doing this, before I forget, Because I want to add in for results. That's another way.
Somebody is knocking at my door. I am so sorry. I did not know this was going to happen.
It's okay.
Wait a minute, hold on. Who is it? Who is it? Man, y'all kids, man. Hey, I'm on the beat. Somebody interview me.
I paused it.
Come on. All right.
I think I paused it. No, I didn't pause it. Okay.
All right, I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm back.
It's okay.
Okay. I'm like,
it's okay. Things happen. Things happen. We human.
Okay.
It's not about perfection here. It's about getting this word out to the people.
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
So, right. The results for you were your confirmation that you were on the right track.
Yes.
So, I talk about pregnancy attitude. What is your attitude when you know what God wants you to do? Are you happy? You sad? Some women, oh, I'm happy I'm pregnant. Others like, no, bad timing, or, it's just not, maybe you're not in a good relationship with the child's father. And so there's so many different attitudes you can have when you're pregnant. It could be from happy to sad to be honored. Some people have shame. They don't feel or unworthy. They don't feel they're worthy of what God has called them to do. There's so many different attitudes and feelings and emotions. I don't have the money to do this. I don't have the knowledge, fear. It's all kind of attitudes. What attitude or feeling, emotion did you have once you knew what God wanted you to do?
I felt three main things: peace, joy, and life.
Awesome.
Because being a soap artisan, it allows you the ability to keep creating. And it had gotten to a point where it was coming to birth, and the contractions of birth and birthing my purpose were so strong. Like I would literally have to sleep with a notebook next to me, and I would wake up in the middle of the night and have to write it down so that I wouldn't lose it.
Right.
And that was also how I knew. I'm like, whoa.
God won't stop talking. That's how you know. He's like, get these instructions.
That's how you know. He won't leave you alone.
That's how he did me with this workshop.
And I don't want to leave me alone. Don't leave me alone.
What they say, make the vision plain, write the vision out.
Yes. And I knew, and in just being in a quiet place, I knew immediately. I said, I have to get a notebook just for this, because it would come to me in my sleep. And I would get up and just write it down.
Awesome. So those are your God appointments. Every pregnant woman has to get with the doctor, because she needs to see how her baby is going to progress, how's the baby's progressing, and talk about her concerns, get instructions from the doctor or whatever. And so once you knew that God called you to make these herbal products, what did your God appointments look like besides journaling? Some people pray, some people study the Bible or praise and worship music. What did you do to stay connected to God, to hear his instructions every step of the way, so you stayed on the course?
Amazingly enough, he would put me around people that had skin problems.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And that test, the test for me, it really wasn't a test. I knew, I'm like, look at God. A lot of people, look at God.
Look at God.
I would talk to them. I would talk to them about my journey and about what God had, was delivering in me, or out of me, I should say.
Birthing.
And I would give them a sample. I would actually give them a sample. And when people started calling me back and they said, girl, what is this? And I'm like, oh, yes. So he was constantly in my, in the process, he was constantly showing me. Because, and I praise him for that, because a lot of times I've heard people, go through things, and then it's like that real silent moment, and you're like, okay, God, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I didn't have that.
You knew that you know that you knew that you knew that you know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and then it was a way to give back to, you know, other believers and just people in general. So anybody that I came in contact with, I promise, I said, what is going on?
well, that's what our purpose is. Your purpose is not about you. It's about blessing other people.
Yes. Yes. It is.
Right. So, prenatal vitamins. These are things that you have to do in order to keep your spirit nourished, you know, keep the baby healthy. So what do you do to keep your spirit nourished, keep yourself motivated? Do you read the scriptures, sing, you know, encouraging songs, motivational videos, books, encouraging people? What are your prenatal vitamins?
Listen, all of that. Just all of that. The word, number one. My mom, who was very she passed, but her spirit lives on.
Amen.
A lot of the things that she wrote down in terms of the Lord, because she would always speak life into me spiritually. So, and I'm constantly reminded, like I'm saturated with it and I surround myself with it. So that is like number one. Like I kept her Bible, like that wore out one. with the one that swole up. The swole up Bible.
All the pages underlined, highlighted.
Yeah.
All the part coming off the seams.
Yes. So I have her journals and her, because she ministers to me well after she's transcended.
Yeah.
So that's like my number one.
Mama left her mark.
Yeah. Prayer, meditating, just being in a quiet place.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just drive just to be alone with God, just look for signs. It says, see my signs and reflect. And a lot of people don't do that.
Right.
And it's right there. So you just have to kind of calm the spirit to listen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Calm your mind and your thoughts.
Yes.
Like, oh, this is like a
yes, because we're in a very noisy world.
Yes. So let's
to be honest, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know with us being in the situation that we're in,
social distancing.
Yes, I feel a peace. You know, he is not giving me the spirit of fear.
That's right.
And I'm like, now I know this guy, because you see all this panicking and I don't feel it.
Right.
And I'm like, God is good.
That's yes, he is. He is. Restrictions. Pregnant women cannot do everything. There's some things they can't do while they're pregnant. Drugs, alcohol, smoking, roller coaster rides, lifting heavy things. So what are some things that you had to cut out in order to birth your purpose? Was it some activities, habits, people, places, thinking patterns, social media? What you have to cut out?
Naysayers and the thinking pattern of doubt.
Okay. All
because
right.
Doubt is the eraser of faith.
Right. Of course.
Really, that, and you know.
What were they saying? What were the naysayers saying?
How do you know this won't break me out? Or like, who taught you this? Did God really bring this to you? And I mean, the devil would come raw. I said, okay. But that, again, that's a test on authenticity. And I said, okay, that's fine. You can try it or no. And the beauty of it was that it was given from the heart. So at that point, I wasn't asking for money. Again, I'm testing what God is birthing in me.
They already was broke out, weren't they?
Yeah.
It's like, wait, you already broke out.
And see, them would be the ones, though. And so the beauty of it was the humility, having to eat humble pie when you know you were an advocate of negativity and you know it worked. So now you got to come back like, what was in that? Oh, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. Remember what you said? And I wasn't hard.
And now I'm charging you because you was all
right.
Now you gotta pay. No, I'm just playing.
Oh yeah. And you know what? And God put this in my spirit when people would ask me. I said, because it became chronic, like Satan was coming. And I say, listen, when you go in a grocery store, and I promise this came from the Creator. When you go in a grocery store, all you see is the label on that product. The grocery store, in essence, is a whole place of ideas. Everybody in there, that's their purpose. On every shelf, that's purpose.
Right.
So when you pick up Dove, what do you know about Dove? So
for your skin, not what it do for somebody else.
Hello.
For your skin.
I said, yet you buy it. You buy it by the bulk, don't you? 15 balls. 15.
Don't do nothing for you. She probably used Dove and still broke out.
And I said, now, if you had a problem with Dove, who owns Dove? I said, at least you can get to me. How many people would you have to go through just to get to Dove? Like, come on now. Anything you need, I can tell you. I can cross-reference where I got it from. So normally when I say that, oh, you right. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was one of my, but that was one of my main things in terms of naysayers.
Yeah.
And it would never be a middle ground. Either people would go, that is awesome. Oh my God, can you? Or it was straight, what? How you know? God showed you. Okay. Well, how I know it ain't gonna break me out? You already broke out. What do you mean? I'm trying to help you. I'm not charging you. All I'm asking you to do is test the product.
On a little small area.
Yeah. So other than that, yeah, that was it.
Oh, let's talk about Lama's class and whatever type of education you needed to be able to do what it is you do. Some people at school, webinars, they may do an internship, volunteer, job shadowing, books. How did you get the knowledge to make herbal products?
A lot of chemistry, and I had a lot of background knowledge because I was a nail technician. I taught nails at the age of 19 years old. Okay. So a lot of the crossover into herbal products, like I started discovering during my learning path, like this is all in the same area. So I had a lot of the background knowledge. I just had to get into the specifics in terms of learning the terminology and understanding scientific words. So, and what I discovered is, now this top secret, everybody, if people truly knew the things that are great for their skin, they would have to eliminate the cosmetic aisle all the way together. It's all wordplay.
Okay.
And when I started, decoding, a lot of the terms, I'm like, wow.
This some trash.
So what it gave me the ability to do, and I will continue to study. I continue to study now because the market is ever changing. Oils are ever changing. Like I could go in a store and can look at a product and smell it and tell if it's rancid or not. Now, a lot of people say, well, what's rancid? RANCID. That means if the oil is bad.
Mm.
I could smell a product and tell you whether it's an essential oil or what's called a FO, a fragrance oil. So if it's really perfumed, my products are more so medicinal. So it goes in to correct the problem that you're having. I also attended a chemistry classes on soap making.
Okay.
That was awesome. And I'm just constantly studying. The field is ever changing and it's ever evolving.
Okay.
And you have to just right. to make sure your brand is good and you're doing what's best for the consumer.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The nursery. So if someone was interested in making herbal products or maybe fragrance oils, essential oils or whatever, mm-hmm. the terms are. I don't know.
Okay.
But what do they need for the nursery? What do they need? Some examples of things you may need for the nursery are funding, equipment, supplies, members, employees, marketing. What did you need for your nursery to birth your baby?
To birth my baby, I actually had to stop funneling my money into other people's business that did this, that kind of did the same thing.
Well, that's
So I
restrictions.
found
See,
myself
that was
like,
the restrictions.
yeah, but the money, but look, when I would spend money, I would spend like $100, $200, and I said, wait a minute, I'm doing the same thing. So I turned that money around and invested it in myself.
Good.
So now that I know how to do it, I don't have that need to, like, and not to knock the company, awesome company, but Bath and Body Works comes to mind. Once I discovered in studying making soaps and the difference between oils and brands, I started to understand their whole entire setup. And I said, okay, so that money, and I was spending money, that helped me to get off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of funding, you could go for a small business loan. I didn't want to do that because I knew how to make it as the manufacturer. So you cut a lot of that out.
So what about your equipment? What equipment you need?
Equipment. So I built my equipment over time because you have different avenues you can go in terms of soap making. So you can make hot process, or you can make cold process. Cold process takes a lot longer. Hot process is has a faster curing time. So I lean more so toward hot process, and a lot of people like the hot process product at the end. So I've tested both markets, and people seem to like it more because they need that soap. You got my soap? And if
like,
I had to
like
tell
an
them,
addiction. So
yeah,
I want to get my fix.
listen, I would have, no joke, I would have people order it. Sometimes they'll say, I need 100 bars. And I go, what? Okay, thank you, Lord. But at the same time, now it's gonna take me about at least 2 weeks. And they go, okay. Now if it were cold process, it would probably be upwards of 2 months.
Wow.
So the turnaround time is vastly different.
How come okay, there you go.
It's vastly different.
What about marketing? How do you market?
You know what? In marketing, I had a lot of word of mouth.
Okay.
So this will be, again, in working to keep revamping the business and always trying to be, cutting edge and just new and fresh. My market is actually what I'm going through right now, trying to, kind of find my way. You don't want to really go in a market that's saturated and everybody's doing it or kind of doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So that's where I am right now, mm-hmm, in terms of marketing. Mm-hmm. But I get word of mouth has been very powerful. Okay.
So how do you juggle, like you said, you're a mom of 5. You work full time. Mm-hmm. You have to have your God time. You have to have, mm-hmm, your you time and the business. How do you, mm-hmm, prioritize to avoid overloads, schedules, get, mm-hmm, that proper rest, to avoid fatigue and, mm-hmm, burnout? How do you do it? What do you have to cut out, put to the back burner? What do you have to do to be able to do all this?
Well, it's home based right now, and so really, what I had to do it on the weekends, and in terms of like prayer and things like that, it was just I put it all together. So a lot of my best creations came during my worshiping. And just, it's just
you making
peaceful
soap.
for me.
I love you, Lord. You're
like
Lord.
it's
you worshiping while you making soap, huh?
It's like cooking. It's literally like cooking. Okay. And my children would know, mommy making soap. Shh, be quiet. They know mommy down there making soap. So yeah, it's peace and serenity for me. So I always find the time for that. But in terms of juggling it around work, it would definitely be like during the weekends or when you have, had extended breaks, you know, in education. Now, if I had an order, if somebody ordered one and they needed a quick turnaround, you know, then sometimes I would have to cut out of work a little early. But for me, that would be nothing because normally I would be there late. I would go home a little early.
You leave when the
I had to shut it down and go and go nurture my baby. So yeah, I would normally be able to crank out about 100 bars in about with a hard work week, like in 3 days.
And you have the summers off as a teacher.
Oh yes, absolutely, summers off. Yeah,
that's the real good thing.
Now the summers get tricky too because you have to watch the temperature. So you know when it's really hot and humid, the soap will sweat.
Oh, okay.
So you have to make sure you know that it's curing and in a cool place.
Okay. Let's talk about labor pains. Right before your first bar of soap, here comes the labor pain. Trying to make you say, I don't know about this. Any roadblocks? Anything you can think of?
Well, when it first started being birthed out of me, again, I'm sorry, I apologize for that. I was having a tough living situation.
Okay, that's,
yeah.
You know how we do. Look, we dance through the problem. We dance our way to.
I said, you know what? And I was going through it with, you know, my children and just trying to find a home that could fit the birthing of this baby.
You got 5 kids plus that baby, 6.
And it took, so I would have to like, girl, I reminded myself of a gypsy. I would have all this stuff in my car, and it would look crazy to other people. Like, why do you have all that stuff and tools and batter and all kinds of stuff? But once, you know, and it took about, and I'm talking about them pains, maybe about 6 months, and wow. I finally found somewhere, and it was perfect. It had a huge kitchen space, counter space, everything, and man, when I set up in there, I had my canisters, I had everything I needed because I had been carrying it with me, carrying that load. And then once it birthed out, like I could just see it. Like all over the kitchen, I had like all my labels, all my ingredients, everything. So yeah, that was one of the greatest challenges.
Did you see, I don't know, just something about what you said reminded me of, did you see the documentary about Madam C.J. Walker, Made in America?
No, and I want to watch the new film.
Check it out. I'm sure you'll be able to relate. We said all the labels everywhere and all that. And she definitely had a lot of labor pain.
Yes.
Let's talk about postpartum depression. After the baby's here, you're a little sad for some reason. Could be unrealistic expectations. Maybe the baby's not developing the way you want it to. Maybe it's costing you more than you thought it should. More time consuming. Or maybe you didn't. Every woman doesn't have postpartum depression. Did you have any?
The postpartum depression for me would really be handling both ends of it. So like manufacturing and doing the business side. That you can run, you know, if I was able to just partition, and because it's it becomes a lot of work when you're doing both sides.
Right. So
my sister is a natural businesswoman, so she would help me a lot with that, like my logo. She was like, "Oh, I can," like that's her gift. Like, girl, hold on. Let me show you some stuff. Let me put some stuff together. Good. Girl had a label, all of that done. I'm like, wow, because you have to keep switching hats. Because when I'm thinking about the soap I'm getting ready to create, I can't be thinking about the label that I'm getting ready to make You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I got the name of the soap. I know everything that go in it. And I'm working on formulating the right portions to go in the soap. And then you got to take that hat off. Okay, now look, okay, what we going to put it in? How's it going to look? Like, that is one of that right there became.
That would make you a little bit like,
yes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Now, we talk about premature birth. And I don't probably, I don't think you probably had any premature birth. You were probably right on time with this baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. And then we also get into overdue pregnancy. Where you should have done this already, but you didn't for whatever reason. Well, there are some reasons. Some people are in sin, who caught up in doing things they got no business doing, which is delaying their purpose. Fear, there's some laziness, like you say, negative people or the naysayers. They may have lack of funding, lack of exposure, wrong location, or despising small beginnings. If they can't jump out large, they don't want to go out at all. Do you think that birthing these herbal products was overdue? Something that you should have been done, but maybe just didn't take the time to really tap into God sooner to get your daughter?
No, I believe that the pen is lifted and the ink is dry. And what God has for you, he has for you.
Okay.
And it's in his time.
Okay.
So I don't, when it comes to that, I caution myself, hold on. You're not the creator. Step back. Because then when you go over into that, then you cause yourself a whole lot of different problems. Questioning God, is this really what you wanted me to do? And I understand who he is. And I thank him for the vision and for the purpose. And I just keep moving.
Yeah.
I keep moving.
So we talk about red flags to purpose. If your purpose has you neglect, disobey, or denounce God, that's a red flag. Your purpose shouldn't have you neglect yourself.
Right.
Shouldn't have you neglect your immediate family.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have you don't have any time for your kids. They hungry. You're not able to help them with their homework. You caught up in your purpose. Threw the kids to the side. Up to the curb. Get your own food. No. Your purpose has you neglect your other purpose you say God called you to do. So I like the way you say you're able to juggle both of your purposes, which is teaching and making herbal products. If your purpose is illegal, immoral, or unethical, watch out.
Nope.
All right.
Watch out.
Watch out. If you're no longer interested in your so-called purpose, or your purpose changes your character from the way of love. Now you have your purpose, you such a much. You looking down on people now. Like, not saying it's not your purpose, but it's a red flag, Did you ever experience any red flags within?
No, it just fit into my life. It fits.
You never neglected the kids because you managed that.
No, if anything, a lot of times they would want to help.
Oh, so it's like it was
a teachable moment. Or like now they might come down say if I had a batched out a product for someone, now I would have to double back and make sure they ain't snuck in that bag and got about 2-3 bars. And I was like, wait a minute, that is not for you. Oh my, why you make that soap look better than the one you make for us? Now it's being silly. Like, no, it don't. But other than that, no, it fits.
But I like you said, it was a teachable moment.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
And so like sometimes you think about that when a lot of times people are caught up in their purpose and they're too busy for their kids. It's like you could kind of be teaching them the ropes.
Yes.
Showing them, including
entrepreneurship. Yeah. Innovation, creativity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so let's talk about during the wait. Until you know that you know what it is God has called you to do. I tell people to stay in God's presence, do what is right in the sight of the Lord, walk in the fruits of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. The scriptures are here for anybody want to look them up. Share the gospel, get people connected to God, save souls. I believe Jesus, depending on what they believe. Hey, that's between them and their Lord. But share your testimonies, encourage others, spread knowledge, be grateful, stop complaining, and make no comparisons. Your journey is your journey. Don't compare yourself to anybody else.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I think that is important for people to do. Just the basics, love other people.
Right.
How you can be a blessing to others. And if you're doing those things, you can't help but to fall into purpose. And for those who are frustrated and think that maybe they are out of purpose, I let them know that God is an amazing GPS. He will get you back on track. His grace and mercy will reroute you if you're off into something you have no business getting into.
Look, thus this interview is rerouting me.
Really?
Oh yeah, look, now I ain't ashamed now. Wait a minute. You know,
this interview is rerouting you.
Social distancing, and it's just yours was confirmation. I said, okay, that's 3. That's 3.
Wow.
So,
let's showcase your baby. So for those who want to reach Halicia Yarbrough to get these great herbal products, you can visit her at Facebook, reach out to her. Also, you can email her at Soul Flower Soap Collection, or is it Collections?
Yeah, Collections, yeah.
Can I put the S in there? Sorry, okay. Soul Flower Soap Collections at gmail.com.
Yes.
And let's show them some pictures of your baby. Yeah. Ooh, there is Halicia learning. Tell them a little bit about it. This is your picture. You tell them.
Okay, so this studio actually teaches, the soap making process. Now for that particular course I took was for cold process. And that's the one that takes like a really long time to cure it. And you go through everything. They set you up, and it's literally like a class. So in the class, you may have about 14 people, and you all have your own stations with all your own implements. And then you have to, because it's literally like a lab, because soap making is chemistry. And you go through the whole process, and then when you're done, you take your baby with you, and then you can cut the soap the next day, and then, but you can't use it for like 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks. So it's amazing to see how, the things God has given us to make soap. And, our foremothers did it. And then I recently found out that my grandmother made soap. And I'm like, wow. So I said, look at that. Yeah, it's awesome.
Those some of your schoolwork.
Oh, no, that's my.
I'm going the wrong way. Okay, there we go.
Okay, yeah.
So
now that particular bar right there, now that's hot process, and that takes, because you're the layering process, it takes a while. So to do a loaf of that would take maybe about 6 hours.
How much is this soap if anyone wants to buy it?
Okay, now for that bar, $8, but generally $6. I try to stay, it fluctuates with the market, but I try to be reasonable and not, have outlandish
Here we go.
prices.
All right. Here's another soap. They're so pretty. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, I actually did that one for one of my AKA sisters.
All right. That looks like charcoal.
Yep, that's charcoal soap in there, oatmeal, and that's triple rolls. So herbs come in a derivative of 3. Now, I want to get to teaching on here now. I know this is what And you talk.
You are such a teacher.
I'm staying in my lane,
y'all. Woo!
That one right there is I call that triple threat. That's rolls though. That's a roll soap.
Okay. But these are just some of you got plenty.
Yeah, now that's just some. I make soap cakes. Like literally, it looks like a bundt cake. Like pie. I can make it in any shape or form. So like I had somebody that wanted to order a soap cake, and they literally could cut the amount of soap they wanted to use maybe per week or per day and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. And
thank you.
And the thing about it is, as long as I've known you, you've always been in the vein of education. Like, you really keep this baby on the weekend. Because
yeah,
when we talk, it's all about those students.
It's all about the students.
Curriculum.
Yeah. But you know what? Even for that, though, I wanted, when Junior Achievement would come and they would ask about, entrepreneurship and business, and then they go, is anybody in the room that knows anybody? And I raise my hand like, and then they go, oh my goodness, you have a business, what do you do? And I say, make soap. And then all the students go, Miss White, you make soap? And it would be an opportunity. And every class I've ever had always wanted to learn, but again, you need the space. And then you working with chemicals, so I would have to make sure that they had lab coats, goggles, safety goggles, and things like that. But that's on my to-do list once this is over, because you know me dragging in all of the pieces, parts in order to do it. But yeah, that's on the top list of what students want to learn how to do, make soap.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am so glad that you came here to share your story with others.
And thank you for thinking of me.
And get me your daughter, because she's a powerhouse.
Yes. Oh yes, she is a powerhouse.
17. She's a powerhouse. She's a little entrepreneur already. I need her tomorrow.
I got you.
Her.
I got you. And she would love that. And then she could feature it too when you're done. Oh, she could feature it on her page. Her page. Yes.
Please get. Yes. I need tomorrow. And for those who would like to reach out to me for free coaching or a deliverance session through Zoom, I can be reached at Birthing Purpose with Lana on Instagram. My email is birthingpurposewithlana@gmail.com. And my website is libertyofchrist.life if you want to learn a little bit more about deliverance and what it's all about. So, yeah. Yes. So hang on in there during this social.
Yeah, you got to send me that information so I can get it out to some people. That is your call. I'm telling you.
Ooh, hallelujah. Praise to God.
So,
thank you.
Listen, girl, look, we off tape. Well,
Not yet. Let's tell them goodbye. Peace out.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Look.